Have you ever found yourself staring blankly at a textbook, feeling the weight of obligation pressing down on you? That feeling that studying is a chore, a tedious task you have to do, rather than something you want to do. What if I told you that it doesn't have to be this way? What if you could transform studying from a dreaded obligation into a genuinely enjoyable, even exciting activity? This isn't some fantasy, it's a very real possibility, and it all comes down to understanding and shifting your relationship with learning. Think about it. We often approach studying with the wrong mindset. We see it as a means to an end, passing an exam, getting a degree, securing a job. And yes, those are important goals, but when they become the sole focus, studying can feel like a grind, a monotonous uphill battle. We lose sight of the inherent joy of learning, the thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of expanding our understanding of the world around us. So, how do we reclaim that joy? How do we reignite the spark of curiosity that once burned so brightly within us? Well, it starts with understanding that discipline alone isn't enough. We need something more, something deeper. We need motivation, but not just any kind of motivation. We're not talking about the fleeting burst of energy you get from a motivational quote or a pep talk. We're talking about intrinsic motivation, the kind that comes from within, the kind that's fueled by a genuine desire to learn and grow. Intrinsic motivation is the secret sauce, the magic ingredient that transforms studying from a chore into a passion. And how do we cultivate this magical intrinsic motivation? One of the most powerful ways is by finding meaning in what we're studying. When we can connect our studies to our personal goals, our aspirations, our values, the larger context of our lives, that's when the magic happens. Suddenly, it's not just about memorizing facts and figures. It's about gaining knowledge that empowers us to achieve our dreams, to make a difference in the world, to become the best versions of ourselves. Imagine you're studying history. Instead of just memorizing dates and events, try to understand the human stories behind them. How did these events shape the world we live in today? What can we learn from the mistakes and triumphs of the past? When you start asking these kinds of questions, history comes alive. It becomes relevant, engaging, and even inspiring. It becomes something you want to learn about. It's as simple as realizing that these things aren't just abstracts. They impacted real people. Now let's be honest, transforming your relationship with studying isn't going to happen overnight. It's a process, a journey of self-discovery. It requires effort, patience, and a willingness to experiment with different approaches. But the rewards are immeasurable. When you learn to love learning, you open up a whole new world of possibilities. You become a lifelong learner, constantly growing, evolving, and expanding your horizons. You gain the necessary skills to navigate life no matter what it throws your way. So are you ready to embark on this transformative journey? Are you ready to change your relationship with studying and unlock your full potential? If your answer is yes, then let's dive in and explore the practical steps you can take to make this vision a reality. Let us explore how to redefine your purpose for studying. We'll uncover how to identify your long-term goals and connect them to your studies. We will start by examining the very foundation of a productive study experience, your environment and your physiological state. Think of it like this. You wouldn't try to run a marathon without proper training and the right gear, would you? Similarly, you can't expect to study effectively if your environment is cluttered and distracting, or if you're running on empty, fueled by caffeine and sleep deprivation. So we'll discuss the importance of creating a dedicated study space, free from distractions, where you can focus and concentrate. We'll also delve into the critical role of sleep, nutrition, and physical activity in optimizing your cognitive function, making sure your body and mind are in top shape, allowing you to absorb and retain information more effectively. And hey, we'll also talk about celebrating those small wins. We often get so fixated on the end goal, that perfect grade, that dream job, that we forget to acknowledge and appreciate the progress we make along the way. Each concept mastered, each chapter completed, each problem solved is a step forward, a testament to your dedication and hard work. Recognizing these small wins, no matter how seemingly insignificant, is crucial for maintaining motivation and building momentum. But changing your relationship with studying goes beyond just creating the right environment and celebrating progress. It's about understanding the learning process itself. It's about shifting your focus from the outcome to the journey, from the grade to the growth. We'll explore how to approach studying as an opportunity to expand your knowledge, to deepen your understanding, and to develop critical thinking skills that will serve you well beyond the classroom. We will dive deeper into finding pleasure in the process itself. This involves focusing on the positive aspects of learning, like the satisfaction of understanding something new, the aha moments when a complex concept finally clicks, or the joy of discovering a new passion or interest. It's about embracing the challenges, viewing them not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and development. Of course, no discussion about studying would be complete without addressing the importance of time management and organization. Let's face it, we all have busy lives, and finding the time to study can be a challenge. We'll explore practical strategies for prioritizing your studies, creating a realistic schedule, and optimizing your time to maximize your productivity and minimize stress. The Pomodoro technique, for instance, or getting enough sleep. There are many ways to make the most of your day and make sure you have time to do everything you want to do. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but how do I actually put it into practice? Well, that's where the real work begins. It's about taking these concepts and applying them to your own life, your own unique circumstances. It's about experimenting, finding what works best for you, and being patient with yourself along the way. Let's go back to the idea of finding meaning in your studies. How do you do that? Start by asking yourself some fundamental questions. Why am I studying this? What do I hope to achieve? How does this relate to my long-term goals? How can I use this knowledge to make a positive impact on the world? Don't be afraid to dig deep, to really explore your motivations and aspirations. The more clarity you have about your why, the easier it will be to stay motivated and engaged. Let's illustrate this with an example. Suppose you're studying biology. You could approach it as a dry subject, a collection of facts to be memorized for an exam. Or you could see it as a window into the incredible complexity and beauty of life itself. You could explore the wonders of the human body, the intricacies of ecosystems, the mysteries of genetics. You could connect your studies to your passion for environmental conservation, your desire to understand the origins of disease, or your fascination with the evolution of life on Earth. Suddenly, biology becomes more than just a subject. It becomes a source of wonder, a pathway to understanding the world around you. It's up to you which lens you choose to look through. And remember that physiological and environmental factors are paramount. A cluttered desk, a noisy room, a rumbling stomach, these can all sabotage your efforts to concentrate. Create a dedicated study space that's clean, organized, and free from distractions. Turn off your phone, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and let your family or roommates know that you need some uninterrupted time. Your study space should be a sanctuary, a place where you can fully immerse yourself in the learning process. It doesn't have to be fancy. Even a simple, well-lit corner can work wonders. Equally important is your physical and mental state. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating nutritious foods that fuel your brain? Are you taking breaks to move your body and clear your head? These things might seem obvious, but they're often overlooked. Think of your body and mind as a high-performance machine. To function at its best, it needs the right fuel, regular maintenance, and adequate rest. Now let's talk about celebrating those small victories. It's easy to get discouraged when you're facing a mountain of material to learn. That's why it's so important to break down your studies into smaller, manageable chunks. Set realistic goals for each study session, and when you achieve them, take a moment to acknowledge your progress. Treat yourself to something you enjoy. A walk in nature, a cup of your favorite tea, a few minutes of a hobby you love. These small rewards reinforce positive behavior and help you stay motivated over the long haul. A big part of this process is to understand that you're not just studying to pass a test, but to expand your knowledge and grow as a person. Embrace the challenges, the aha moments when a complex concept finally clicks, and the satisfaction of seeing your understanding deepen over time. Don't be afraid to experiment with different learning techniques. Maybe you're a visual learner who benefits from diagrams and mind maps. Maybe you're an auditory learner who prefers listening to lectures or podcasts. Or maybe you're a kinesthetic learner who learns best by applying what you've learned in practical ways. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to learning. The key is to find what works best for you and to embrace the process of discovery. If something isn't working for you, try a different approach. And finally, let's talk about time management. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but how we use them makes all the difference. Learn to prioritize your tasks, to say no to distractions, and to create a schedule that allows you to balance your studies with other important aspects of your life. This might involve waking up a bit earlier, utilizing your weekends more effectively, or cutting back on less essential activities. There are many different productivity techniques that you can experiment with, such as the Pomodoro technique, which involves working in focused 25-minute intervals followed by short breaks. The key is to find a system that works for you and to stick to it consistently. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What about those times when you just don't feel like studying? When motivation is nowhere to be found, and the mere thought of opening a textbook makes you want to run for the hills. We all have those days. It's part of being human. The key is not to beat yourself up about it. Acknowledge that you're not feeling motivated and try to understand why. Are you tired? Are you overwhelmed? Are you feeling discouraged? Once you've identified the culprit, you can start to address it. If you're tired, maybe you need to take a nap or get a good night's sleep. If you're overwhelmed, maybe you need to break down your tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks. If you're feeling discouraged, maybe you need to remind yourself of your goals, of why you started this journey in the first place. Remember those small victories we talked about? Now is the time to revisit them. Remind yourself of how far you've come, of the progress you've made. And if all else fails, sometimes you just need to give yourself permission to take a break. Step away from your studies for a while, do something you enjoy, and come back to it later with fresh eyes and renewed energy. This journey of transforming your relationship with studying is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be ups and downs, moments of clarity and moments of doubt. But through it all, remember why you started. Remember the sense of accomplishment, the thrill of discovery, the joy of expanding your knowledge. These are the intrinsic rewards that make learning a lifelong adventure. When you reach that turning point, that moment when studying shifts from being a chore to being a source of intrinsic interest and enjoyment, you'll know you've made it. You'll have unlocked a new level of engagement and fulfillment in your academic pursuits. This is when your learning truly takes off, propelling you towards your goals with newfound energy and enthusiasm. So, as we conclude, I want to leave you with this thought. You have the power to change your relationship with studying. You have the power to transform it from a dreaded obligation into a source of joy, fulfillment, and personal growth. It won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Embrace the challenge, be patient with yourself, and never stop learning. The journey to becoming a lifelong learner starts now. And remember, the most beautiful view comes after the hardest climb. The path to a fulfilling relationship with studying might be challenging, but the rewards are immeasurable. This journey is about more than just grades or degrees. It's about unlocking your potential, expanding your horizons, and discovering the joy of lifelong learning. It is about cultivating a mindset that embraces challenges, celebrates progress, and finds meaning in the pursuit of knowledge. It is a personal journey, and only you can take the steps required to make this transformation a reality. So, take that first step today and embrace the incredible journey that lies ahead. The power to change your relationship with studying is in your hands.